To the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who rule well. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I want to start at Genesis here. Genesis 1. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So, even when the Lord created, everything and brought everything into existence, there was nothing but darkness. In the same way that, he has his kingdom now, and the first rule of the earth is, they say, where's the scripture? This is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So even when the Lord created, the heavens and the earth, even before that there was darkness, before there was light. In the same way that right now, he is representative of that darkness, and the remnant of Israel, the 144, and the rest of the elect that pertain unto them are representative of that light. So you don't get light before darkness. Even I was thinking the other day, the evening signifies a new day. When it turns evening, when the sun goes down, that's the new day. But because he's a complete reprobate, he does things backwards. He classes the dawn as the breaking of the new day. He's so reprobate. He actually classes the middle of the night as the new day. But in his head, the how these people really see it, the break of dawn or daylight is what represents that new day, because the morning is the first part of the day. You see what I mean? Even though the Lord has actually classed it as the evening being the first part of the day. And Yahweh, and the spirit of Yahweh moved upon the face of the waters, and Yahweh said, let there be light, and there was light. And Yahweh saw the light, that it was good, and Yahweh divided the light from the darkness. So we're supposed to be separate from these people, because at the end of the day, you don't have the sun and the moon out at the same time. You do have when the Lord wants to break it down, but really and truly in its correct place. You have the sun, you have the day, then you have the moon, which is representative of the night. And right now we're going through the dark phases to get to the light. This is just one long night, and and what really should allow us to be able to keep going on is, at the end of the day, when it's dark, it's always darkest before the dawn. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be way worse before Yahweh brings in the kingdom. And at the end of the day, it's so beautiful, because when you watch a lot of these programs, people be coming up to people, be like, oh, I got good news and I got bad news. What do you want first? And they're like, oh, I want the bad news. And usually it's good to take the bad news first, because once you get over that, once you hear the good news, you forget about the bad news. And there's a scripture that is that speaks on it, because you don't really remember the bad times when you're in good times. I don't even know if I'll be able to find the scripture, because that's the worst. I don't even know, that's really paraphrasing. Well, my internet's not working. Let me see here. This is Psalms 145. I'm going to start at 13. The kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth throughout all generations. So when Yahweh comes and brings in the kingdom, it's going to endure forever, from what seems like it's forever. And there's that scripture, and I wish somebody could put it in the comments if they can bring it up. But it's like when you're in a good place, you don't remember all the bad days that you have. And the elder was speaking this the other day. Just like when you're in a bad place, you don't remember all the good times you had. Like all the stuff that these people are experiencing now, you know, when things get really bad, they're not gonna remember driving around in their Bugatti and being able to eat lobster and all these abominable food. They're gonna completely forget about those days, because you're going to be in the moment. You know, you live in the moment. You don't live in the past. You don't live in the future. You know, time is only really existing right now in this very moment. You know, the past is already gone and the future hasn't happened yet. So if something bad happens and you're living good, you're not gonna remember what's bad. Just like, right, if something bad is happening now and you've had some good, you're not gonna remember that. So the Lord set this up perfectly for you to go through the bad first, to then deal with the good. You know, just like he's kind of done it in the reverse for E. You know, sometimes, like, if I sometimes almost feel sorry for E, because, you know, he gets the fat of the earth first, and then for the rest, you know, for the rest of his days, he basically gets an arse whooping. Now that just shows you how much the Lord hates East. You know, he's completely spun everything around for him, and he's made him completely adverse and reprobate to everything that everything's supposed to be in its natural order. You know, he's completely adverse to that. He likes everything he everything about him is done in a natural order. You know, he gets to stuff his face first, and then he has to pay for it. But, you know, with Israel, you know, Israel has to kind of suffer first, and then they receive all the glory of the kingdom. So, you know, pretty much the Lord's got this set up how it's supposed to be, because that's how everything is in natural order, in its natural ordered state. Ezekiel 34:25, and they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beasts of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. I will raise up for them a plant of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with hunger in the land, neither bear the shame of the heathen any more. So all these little bywords and stuff, you know, the heathens, you know, regard Israel as, and all the other tribes, you know, you're not even gonna remember that. I'm gonna go back to 34:25, and I will make them, and I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. Can you imagine being able to sleep in a jungle? Now in full well there's meant to be lions and all of it, but you can just sleep safely there. You know, right now you can't, because you will get devoured. And I will make them and the places round about my hill a blessing, and I will cause a shower to come down in this season. There shall be showers of blessings, and the tree of the field shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase, and they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh, when I have broken the bands of their yoke, and delivered them out of the hand of those that serve themselves of them. So the Lord's completely gonna just spin everything around, do a complete 180, you know, and everything's gonna be in its correct state. Because right now everything is upside down, man. You got men acting like women, women acting like men, children trying to act like they're adults, adults trying to act like they're kids. You know, you got all these old people who don't have any wisdom. Man, it's so weird. You see kids who have more wisdom than old people. So everything's completely off its axis in this queendom. And this is another one. 2 Samuel 7:16. And thy house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever. So Israel is gonna be standing forever. You know, after it goes through the darkness, it's going to be an everlasting kingdom, the only everlasting kingdom. Because all these other kingdoms, you know, if you go into the chapter of Daniel, where he breaks down, you know, the kingdom of clay and so on and so forth, all these other kingdoms have had their time, you know, but Israel was the only kingdom that's going to have an everlasting kingdom. And that's is beautiful to behold, because you can see everything, you know, everything kind of fits in its pieces and makes sense when you take everything into account, you know, because the Lord don't really set things up in one aspect or one facet. You know, he does things on a multi-level. You know, it will be spiritual, be physical, be mental, so you even natural. So you can even see in how the Lord has set up the earth, that this is how things are meant to be. You know, you're not going to get to the glory, you know, without having to go through something adverse, and at the end of the day, he talks about, chastening those he loves. So whenever Israel does something wrong, he's quick to whip out the cane and whoop your ass. But these people, he lets their iniquity reach up to the heavens. So you don't really want to be in a position, even though it looks good. It's not going to be good in the long run. Isaiah 32:1, behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment, which is something that the earth severely needs, man. You look around, you see these animals completely out of whack, man. I'll be seeing foxes, and because there's not a lot of people on the roads these days, I see foxes coming out a lot more, and who's to say this isn't their natural habitation, because where I live used to be a forest. So what you've done is you've cleared all the trees away, and these animals are a remnant of the fact that it was a forest, because certain places you weren't meant to tear down. You're supposed to leave them as they were. But these people, they'll take a land that's completely uninhabitable, and build on it and do all of these, set up a hydroponic farm and all of this other stuff. They do things that they're not meant to do. You have fruit trees, you have a forest that grows food. These people will burn it down because it's fertile land, and they'll build houses on fertile land, even though that's meant to be used, for agriculture. So these people are just completely backward, man. Isaiah 32:17, and the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness quietness and assurance forever. And my people shall dwell in peaceable habitations, and in sure dwellings, and in quiet resting places. When it shall hail coming down on the forest, and the city shall be low in a low place. Blessed are ye that sow beside all waters, that send forth thither the feet of the ox and the ass. So blessed are those who are, waiting for the blessings of the Lord. Blessed are those who are sowing those seeds of faith. Because right now this is just a faithless generation, man. You try reason with anyone, they just start talking about some next stuff. You know what I mean? You be like, well, what the hell was Corona got to do with this and that? And these people actually believe that what these people are doing is the correct way of dealing with things. I had somebody who wants to be a so-called medical doctor, and you don't realize by him doing that, he's gonna put 1,000 demons on himself. Because you're gonna be prescribing all of the stuff that the Lord has not really set up to heal people, under the guise of you healing people. So what you're really doing is destroying people's bodies. All these so-called industries that we look at are as respectable, they're really not respectable. All the ones that we see as blue collar, those blue collar jobs are much more respectable than these so-called high functioning jobs, which just shows you how backward these societies are. You're looking down at a plumber, you'd rather be with a drug dealer or a lawyer or a doctor, and these people are just complete demons. It's better if you get a damn friggin' plumber or an electrician or a delivery driver or even a damn cleaner, because what he does is way more righteous than what these people do. These people are just complete reprobates, man, and this society it's just completely upside down, man. So I hope everybody that's might listen to this is safe out there, because right now, this whole national lockdown, it seems like this is one of the last ones they're gonna do, and it's just gonna be perpetual, because they keep just extending the time when the so-called lockdown is meant to be happening, and people are bugging out a lot more. As somebody asked me, where my mask was and all of this stuff, it just so happens I've got an exempt note. So these people are bugging out way more and more over just silly stuff, because this kingdom is just completely finished, and at the end of the day, it's gonna get way worse before it gets better. So these people are you're gonna see them just manifesting into complete demons as the days go on. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, double honest to the elders and apostles of GMS who rule well. Shalom to the elect.